and I tried to steal a whole bunch of other shit just to get money for drugs and support books for other people that was locked up, and I got caught. And Pennsylvania told me that I was lucky that everything that I stole was under $1,000. It came up to $450. And they told me that I was lucky. They found needles in my bag. They found empty methadone bottles in my bag. They found cellophane full of pills in my bag. And they found my daughter with a pair of stolen shoes on her feet. And my daughter wasn't even 2 years old.
What's your wife going on now?
And they told me that I wouldn't get arrested, but they told me that I would have to sign a paper confirming that I would not be allowed in any Target for a year. And I said, okay. And they uncuffed me and they let me walk out, and we left. And then December 4th of 2014, I get a call because my son was left with Hippie. And Hippie can confirm it. I left my son with Hippie in Tawnytown. My son wanted to hang out with Hippie, hang out with his stepson, and my son was so about Hippie, and me and his father was like, yeah, cool, that's cool, like, you can hang out with him. And Tawnytown Police Department knocked on my door, and they said, do you know where your child is? And I said, yeah, he's with a friend. And they said, what kind of car does he drive? And I told them, and they told me that they had that vehicle stopped down here in Westminster, Maryland, at the Westminster Library, and that the driver of the vehicle was being arrested, and that my son was being contained by Westminster Police Department and Child Protective Services, and that I needed to come down here to get my child. So I got a ride from Tawnytown. I came down here, and I found my child at the library, and there my child was with 2 Westminster police officers and the librarian. And I said, what is the problem? And I was going to the methadone clinic, so I'm nodding out. Every 5 minutes, I'm nodding out, listening to what they got to say, and I'm nodding out. And I remember an officer saying, Miss Lewis, what is wrong with you? And I said, I go to the methadone clinic. My methadone's kicking my ass. And he said, okay. I go to walk out to put my kids in the car.
Okay.
And when I walk out, the cop says, you can't get in this car.
This is so real. People love that.
You can't get in this car.
They're not scripting it.
You're getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You have a warrant for your arrest. And I said, excuse me? Show me the papers. And they couldn't show me the papers. And I'm looking at my babies. And they said, Miss Lewis, you can't get in that car with your kids. I apologize, but we have to arrest you. So I told the police, you're going to at least let me send my kids off, because you will not arrest me in front of my children. So they let my kids get in the car. They let me buckle my kids. And next thing I know, Westminster police arrested me. Fucking helicopter shows up. Undercover shows up. The whole fucking library lights up with police. And I'm being arrested. And when I got to the Westminster Police Department, they told me, you're a fugitive on the run from Pennsylvania. How am I a fugitive? For shoplifting in Pennsylvania? And I gave them a Maryland's address, and they chose not to come and pick me up from Maryland. They chose not to come and find me. That was their fault, not my fault. When I got caught shoplifting, I gave them my proper address. They chose not to find me. So because now, here we are 2 months down the road, I'm a fugitive on the run, they arrested me. And I sat in Carroll County Detention Center for 5 days. You know what? My son came and seen me, and I was such a suicidal risk. They had me in a turtle suit.
Mm-hmm.
I was butt
Turtle
naked
suit up.
in a turtle
Yep.
suit.
Me too.
And my son came and see me through a glass, and he said, Mommy, what
Busted
is
my
going
forehead on
on?
their glass. They put me in a suicide
And I
suit.
said,
You're harming
you know
yourself,
what?
not understanding I was really
I
just
said,
preventing their harm.
Fuck this place. I lost my cool. That is the worst thing I wanted to do was see my son. And I hated my baby father for bringing my child to come and see me in a situation like that because he knew that I was in that turtle suit. And he still thought it was okay to bring my child to come and see me. And I hated him, and I still hate him till this day because that is disrespectful. Why would you do that to your child? If you cared about his feelings, you would have not have done that.
Yeah.
You would have not have brought him to see me in that turtle suit. You would have came by your damn self. And I sat in Carroll County Detention Center for 5 to 6 days, and York County picked me up the last hour, on the last day that they could come and pick me up. They picked me up the last day of the last hour that they had to pick me up. And I went to York County Prison. And that was a wake-up call. I seen a lot of things I didn't want to see. I seen how crazy the world could be. I seen 75-year-old women with oxygen tanks that had to sit in a jail cell for months. And it killed me. And I couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
I try and call home. I couldn't get a hold of my kids. I couldn't.
They just
talk to
farm
my
these souls,
kids.
don't they?
I couldn't do anything.
You see what they do to our sheep?
I would try and call every day just to make myself feel good.
Just
I
'cause
would
we're
wake
sheep.
up every day and call the same number, even though I knew that the number was disconnected. I would still call the same number and make pretend that I was having a conversation just to feel like I was fitting in with the rest of the girls. Yeah, I have somebody to talk to. Meanwhile, I'm talking to a fucking operator that's telling me that the number's disconnected. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm talking to an operator that's telling me this number's been disconnected. But I thought I was okay because I was talking to somebody. Somebody was talking back to me, but I couldn't talk to my kids. I got out February 9th, went to Tawny Town, 144 Carnival Drive. And nobody was there. My kids wasn't there. My house was ransacked. I got evicted 3 days later. My kids was infested with head lice because their father didn't give a fuck what they were doing and what they were up to. My kids wasn't going to school, and their dad lived right across the street from the school and was too fucked up that he couldn't even send their kids to school. I've been through hell. And that's why I feel the way I feel when Troy chose to act the way he acted tonight. My kids aren't niggers. And you think that they're your niece and nephew, but you don't even know half of their story. I'm only 26 years old, and I don't want pity from nobody.
Right.
My whole thing is that if you're going to be my friend, you're going to be my friend till the end. You will not be a fake friend.
It will be
Troy
respect,
comes
yeah.
around and Troy
Respect.
wants to present that he's an uncle to these kids, but then you're going to turn around and disrespect me and my kids. Fuck you. Fuck the horse you came in on. Fuck your girl. Fuck all of her kids. I don't care if you tell her. I will punch her in her mouth. I will punch your kids in their mouth. And then sit down and laugh about it since you thought it was okay to disrespect my kids. That's how
And
I
laugh
feel.
about it.
I don't disrespect anybody's children because children don't have anything to do with what goes on in this fucking sick world. But you want to disrespect my kids, I guarantee it, I'll have the last laugh. And that's how I feel with Troy.
And what did the officer say tonight? He said everything to help you. He wants to help you. He wants to see you doing right, girl. And he's telling you you were doing right.
Well, first of all, I
And-
called him the wrong name.
Like,
I did call the officer the wrong name.
What, name?
No.
no, she did call him the wrong name at first. But we got it all worked out. Yo, but like...
Yeah, he was just trying to help the poor guy.
He honestly,
but it was a
like,
bad
honestly,
moment. I'm glad he
100%, I
saw
have
past
never
it.
seen a 100% police officer tonight. Until tonight, like, be 100%. Yo, and he was really saying, yo,